Hello friends, welcome to lesson number 3, Changing Structure of Modern Industrial Enterprises. Introduction. Industrial enterprises have to change as part of keeping up with the competition at not only national level but also global level, and also adjusting to new market trends or technologies. Things such as mergers, restructuring, technological advancements, process enhancements, changing customer demands and new product lines are fairly common in today's business environments. Reasons for change can be attributed to an organization's external environment as well as their internal environment. The important objectives of this lesson are, after the completion of this lesson, you will be able to understand the causes of changes in structure of modern industrial enterprise. You will be able to analyze the different areas of change in industrial enterprise. So, let us begin by discussing regarding changing structure. Organizational change subsumes organization-wide change as opposed to smaller changes such as adding a new person, modifying a program and so on. Examples of organization-wide change might include a change in mission, restructuring operations, for example, restructuring to self-managed teams or due to layoffs, new technologies, mergers or new programs such as total quality management, re-engineering and so on. The changes in modern industrial enterprises are implemented as part of a strategy to accomplish an overall goal. These transformations should not take place just for the sake of change. The changes are reflected through restructurings, process enhancements, mergers, acquisitions and layoffs with goal of achieving revenue growth and increased profitability. While the external environment, which can be competitive, regulatory and so on, will continue to play a role in an organization's ability to deliver goods and services, the internal environment within the organization will increasingly inhibit it from delivering products required to meet the demands of the marketplace unless it is able to adapt quickly. There are several causes of changes. Let us try to understand them. You all will agree that we live in times of unprecedented change. The changes one experiences are happening at very fast pace. The technology that an organization uses on an everyday basis may be outdated and replaced at a frequent pace. That means an organization needs to be responsive to advances in the technological environment. Its employees' work skills must evolve as the technology evolves. Organizations that refuse to adapt are likely to be closed. If an organization wants to survive and prosper, its managers must continually innovate and adapt to new situations. The reasons for organizational change also varies. They range from disruptive technologies and changing market conditions to the need to improve quality, productivity or profit. Many types of organizational changes exist. Changes can be planned or unplanned. They can be transformational or incremental. They can be remedial or developmental. The main reason for restructuring a business is to execute a new strategy. A strategy sets out a plan that determines how a business will use its major resources to meet its strategic objectives. When there is change in strategy, it becomes mandatory to adapt business structure to ensure that the two elements, that is the resources and objectives, continue to support each other. This may happen owing to the factors such as transition from a startup to a scale-up company, introducing change in management, moving into new product lines, preparing business for growth and expansion. Different external or internal factors can cause and accelerate organizational change. External factors that might prompt a change in industrial structure includes addressing new markets, responding to changes in product or service demand, keeping up with new technologies or products from competitors, mergers and acquisitions, joint ventures and business partnerships, preparing to promote and expand business. The internal factors affecting organizational change are also varied. Internal business needs can also prompt business change. These may include the need to raise the capital, improve cash flow or profitability of business. It may also involve improving working practices and processes, eliminating the excess job positions and duplicate management roles, reorganizing internal functions such as sales and marketing for better efficiencies. It is extremely important to discuss about preparation for organizational change. Being able to recognize the signs of upcoming organizational change can help to prepare for the change and implement policies that will ensure the growth of enterprise. Waiting till the time the enterprise is threatened, it may result in defensive and ineffective management. Proactive business change is much more effective. This is when management foresees a change in the market or economy which will affect the enterprise and make changes to improve its positions. We can read and elaborate more about the change management also. Every organization goes through periods of transformation that can cause stress and uncertainty. To be successful, organizations must embrace many types of change. Businesses must develop improved production technologies, create new products desired in the marketplace, implement new administrative and managerial systems, and upgrade employee skills. Organizations that adapt successfully are both profitable and also are admired. Managers must contend with all factors that affect their organizations. The external environment is affected by political, social, technological and economic stimuli outside of the organization that cause changes. The internal environment is affected by organizations, management policies and styles, systems and procedures, as well as the employee attitudes. Friends, there is also lot of opposition to organizational changes. Organizational changes are resisted, which may hamper the organizational interests and also impact the economy. These kinds of dismal scenarios give employees the impression that change is not good. The employees have no reason to believe that it's going to be better in the future. Some of the most common reasons employees resist changes are uncertainty and insecurity, reaction against the way change is presented, threats to vested interests, cynicism and lack of trust, perceptual differences and lack of understanding. To overcome resistance, managers can involve workers in the change process by communicating openly about changes, providing advance notice of an upcoming change, exercising sensitivity to workers' concerns, and reassuring workers that change will not affect their security. The required training for new type of job profile should also be provided by the enterprises. In addition, managers are more likely to implement changes successfully if they avoid common pitfalls that cause changes to fail. Some of these pitfalls are, which we can discuss, includes faulty thinking, inadequate change process, insufficient resources, lack of commitment to change, poor timing of the change, a culture resistant to change. So, to implement planned change effectively, managers must understand how to overcome resistance to change, why change efforts fail, and what techniques they can use to modify the behavior. Managers can use two approaches to change attitudes and behaviors at the individual level: the three-step approach and force field analysis. The process of change has been characterized as having three basic stages: unfreezing, changing, and refreezing. Unfreezing. This step involves developing an initial awareness of the need for change and the forces supporting and resisting change. Because most people and organizations prefer stability and the perpetuation of the status quo, a successful change process must overcome the status quo by unfreezing old behaviors, processes, or structure. This approach includes the use of one-on-one discussions, presentations to groups, memos, reports, company newsletters, training programs, and demonstrations to educate employees about an imminent change and help them see the logic of the decision. Deficiencies in current situation are identified and the benefits of the replacement are stressed. The second phase is that of changing phase. This step focuses on learning new behaviors. Change results from individuals being uncomfortable with the identified negative behaviors and being presented with new behaviors, role models, and support. In this phase, something new takes place in a system and change is actually implemented. This is the point at which managers initiate change in such organizational targets as tasks, people, culture, technology, and structure. When managers implement change, people must be ready for the change. The third stage is of refreezing. Refreezing centers on reinforcing new behaviors, usually by positive results, feelings of accomplishment, or rewards. After management has implemented changes in organizational goals, products, processes, structures, or people, they cannot sit back and expect the change to be maintained over time. Behaviors that are positively reinforced tend to be repeated. In designing change, attention must be paid to how the new behaviors will be reinforced and rewarded. One of the earliest and most fundamental models of change, the force field analytic problem solving model, was developed by behavioral scientist Kurt Lewin in 1940s. Since then, this model has been widely used as a technique for encouraging groups of people to tackle organizational issues that previously seemed too complex or too deeply rooted to approach. Force field analysis depicts the change process as one that must overcome a person's or organization's status quo or existing state of equilibrium, the balance between forces for change and forces that resist change. In any problem situation, the existing condition, that is the status quo, has been reached because of number of opposing forces. The change forces are known as drivers. Drivers push toward a solution to the problem. The other forces are known as resistors. Resistors inhibit improvement or solution of the problem. When the strength of the drivers is approximately equal to the strength of the resistors, a balance or status quo is apparent. Until the relative strength of the forces is changed, the problem will continue to persist. When a change is introduced, some forces drive it and other forces resist it. To implement a change, management should analyze the change forces. By selectively removing the forces that resist change, the driving forces will be strong enough to enable implementation. As resistant forces are reduced or removed, behavior will shift to incorporate the desired changes. Many employees believe that a change is often reactive and nothing more than a quick fix. Then they brace themselves for more changes in the future. Management needs to realize that serious underlying problems in organizations must be addressed with long-term consequences in mind. Thus, when management implements changes, careful thought must be given to ensure that new processes are for the long-term good of the company. Let us try to understand the various areas of changes. The major areas of changes in the internal environment of an enterprise includes these aspects. Strategic changes. Sometimes in the course of normal business operation, it is necessary for management to adjust the firm's strategy to achieve the goals of the company or even to change the mission statement of the organization in response to demands of the external environments. Adjusting a company's strategy may involve changing its fundamental approach to doing business, the markets it will target, the kinds of products it will sell, how they will be sold, its overall strategic orientation, the level of global activity and its various partnerships and other joint business arrangements. Structural changes. Organizations often find it necessary to redesign the structure of the company due to influences from the external environment. Structural changes involve the hierarchy of authority, goals, structural characteristics, administrative procedures, chain of command and management systems. Almost all changes in how an organization is managed falls under the category of structural change. A structural change may be as simple as implementing a no smoking policy or as involved as restructuring the company to meet the customer needs more effectively. These are those changes made of the organization structure that might stem from internal or external factors and typically affect how the company is run. Circumstances that usually create the need for structural change include mergers and acquisitions, job duplication, changes in the market and process or policy changes. Third aspect is also that of process orientation. Organizations may need to re-engineer processes to achieve optimum workflow and productivity. Process-oriented change is often related to an organization's production process or how the organization assembles products or delivers services. The adoption of robotics in a manufacturing plant or of laser scanning checkout systems at supermarkets are examples of process-oriented changes. Culture and people change. Some people-centered changes may involve only incremental changes or small improvements in a process. For example, many organizations undergo leadership training that teaches managers how to communicate more openly with the employees. Other programs may concentrate on team processes by teaching both managers and employees to work together more effectively to solve problems. The strategic, structural, process-oriented and people-centered changes occur continuously in a dynamic business. Often, changes in one of these areas impact changes in other areas. Let us discuss about culture and people change in little more detail. Culture and people change in an organization refers to a shift in employees' values, norms, attitudes, beliefs and behavior. Changes in culture and people pertain to how employees think. They are changes in mindset rather than technology, structure or products. People change pertains to just a few employees, such as when a handful of middle managers are sent to a training course to improve their leadership skills. Culture change pertains to organization as a whole, such as changing an organization from a bureaucratic structure to a more participatory environment which focuses on employees providing customer service and quality through teamwork and employee participation. People-centered change alters the attitudes, behaviors, skills or performance of the employees in the company. Changing people-centered processes involves communicating, motivating, leading and interacting within the groups. This focus may necessitate changing how problems are solved, the way employees learn new skills and even the very nature of how employees perceive themselves, their jobs and the organization. An organization's values, what it holds to be important, are reflected in its culture. A manager's role is to ensure that the appropriate values are promoted, creating a positive organizational culture. The result is a thriving work environment with happy, motivated and productive employees. A major approach to changing people and culture is through organizational development. Devoted to large scale organizational change, organizational development focuses primarily on people processes as the target of change. Organizational development is grounded largely in psychology and other behavioral sciences, although more recently it has evolved into a broader approach encompassing such areas as organizational theory, strategy development and social and technical changes. This is used to create long-term policies for ongoing change. This approach applies behavioral science knowledge to planned development of organizational strategies. Its goal is to change people and the quality of their interpersonal relations. The aims of organizational development include encouraging cooperation, eliminating conflict, increasing motivation, improve problem solving, open lines of communication, develop mutual trust and so on. Popular organizational development tools consists of consultants, surveys, group discussion and training sessions. In modern industrial enterprises, there is sensitivity training, which is method of changing behavior through unstructured group interaction. Survey feedback is a technique for assessing attitudes, identifying discrepancies in them and resolving the differences by using survey information in feedback groups. Process consultation involves help given by an outside consultant to a manager in perceiving, understanding and acting upon interpersonal processes. The team building includes interaction among members of work teams to learn how each member thinks and works. Intergroup development involves changing the attitudes, stereotypes and perceptions that work groups have of each other. Let us try to understand changes in industrial enterprises with specific reference to India. There has been an increase in overall production. Building up of infrastructure has become significant. Modern industrial development is not possible without a substantial expansion of the infrastructure of the economy. Accordingly, massive efforts were directed towards the creation of basic facilities like power, transport, communication, ports, banking and finance, qualified and skilled human resources in the 5-year plans. Industries associated with this effort were naturally accorded a high priority. These included heavy electrical equipment like transformers, switch gears, circuit breakers, boilers, etc. The second 5-year plan based on Mahalanobis model gave significance to the development of heavy machine building industries and capital goods industries with a view to strengthen the industrial base of the economy. A wide range of engineering goods, iron and steel metals and metal based products etc. are now produced with the country itself, and the dependence on the other countries has considerably declined. There was growth of elite non-essential consumer goods industries and emphasis on chemicals, petrochemicals and allied industries, emergence and expansion of public sector, diversification of private sector as well. There is remarkable progress on science and technology front. Many research and development centers have been set up under CSIR, that is Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. Research and development facilities have also been installed in public and private sector units. There has been a conspicuous infusion of foreign technology into industrial sector through foreign collaborations. A wide range of sophisticated manufactured products which were previously imported are now being indigenously produced. Friends, let us now summarize this lesson. The expansion of service sector, liberalized and globalized economy, encouraging environment for startups and evolving technology has modified the structure of industrial enterprises to a great extent. The enterprises have to face global level competitions, which has encouraged the changes in the internal structure with greater focus on quality, efficiency and performance. Thank you.